Hello, everybody. It is good to
Good
have
morning.
our viewers tune in, but it's also good to have the rest of the team in. And I'd like to introduce the team. Uh, we have there in the baseball cap John Knutson. He is an Uber tech guy that helps us survive our weeks. And Dave Cassilly, there in the blue shirt, has been with us since day one and has been responsible for getting us on the air in the first place back almost 5 years ago now. So indispensable, Dave and John. And new to our team, but not new to me, are the two that you see sat in an RV. And you may hear some background noise. And the reason is they are in a metal RV in Phoenix. And so air conditioning is a must. So you will hear that over the microphones. Just tolerate that and you'll be fine. That's Mark and Jodi Bush. I met them when I moved to Colorado. I believe that was around 2011, and became fast friends with them. And since that time, and since we've started Our Safe Harbor, they have been listening, they have been contributing videos, and now a new adventure is starting in their life, and they want to use it to help Our Safe Harbor members wherever they are. So, first of all, welcome, Mark and Jodi. Tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Hello from hot Phoenix. It's only 91 degrees, but we're promised it'll be up to about 104 before the day is out. So I'm Mark, my wife Jodi.
Obvious.
Huh?
That's kind of obvious.
I guess so. Yeah, you have the range to prove it. So let's see. A few years ago, we made the decision to get into RVing. We bought an RV, our first one, motorized, and we learned pretty quickly that 30 feet of an RV was not big enough for myself, Jodi, and our two large Irish setters. Not enough storage, not enough room, so on and so forth. But we also decided we really liked the lifestyle. And we made this a goal of ours when we retired to sell everything and hit the road, but just not in that particular RV. So back in May, we picked up our new RV. It's about 40 feet long, fifth wheel, with a patio, which really comes in handy because the dogs really love it. And back in May, we listed the house. 3 days later, it went under contract, and within a month, we were full-time in our new RV. Since then, we've been to, I guess we left around the middle of June, left Colorado, and went to up to Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, Kansas, back to Colorado, and then since we've since leaving Colorado the second time, we have been up through Utah, Nevada, Arizona, back and forth through those states a few times, if you know how the roads are up there. And currently we're in Arizona for a little bit to catch up on some things, meet with some family, that kind of stuff. But
Okay.
this is us.
All right. Well, Mark, when I knew you, you were a civilian employee with the United States Air Force. You served in the Air Force, and then you worked as a contractor, a civilian employee, and then you retired. And Jodi
Right.
really helped Miss Cammie a lot when we moved in because Miss Cammie's an interior designer, and Jodi has 35 years, I believe, as an architect before you retired.
Yep.
And
She's the smart
you
one.
have. We knew that too. That, as Jodi said earlier, that part's obvious. But, Jodi, you have 3 children, and how many grandchildren are you sharing?
We have 3 children, 3 in-law children, and 3 grandsons.
All right,
The
and I know
oldest
that.
grandson,
Go
the
ahead.
oldest grandson will be 21 next month, And then the two littles are 4 and 5.
Oh my, quite a separation.
That's
Okay,
quite a
well,
separation.
and if I understand correctly, you decided, well, the family has scattered, and there's no need for us to stay in one location. And then you approached us and said, hey, we're going to do this anyway. How can we help our safe harbor? And that's where the viewers, I want you to come in. You can even live chat. You can ask questions, direct them to Mark and Jodi or to any of the team. Make sure that you access that, because that's a pretty cool feature that Sean has set up. If I understand correctly, what you said to us was, while we're traveling around, if we are near our safe harbor members, we would love just to say hello. Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to pull that RV into your driveway and loose the dogs in your house. It means however you'd like to meet. Unless that's what you want, which, all three of you who might possibly want that. The rest could meet them wherever they are camped or wherever, at a restaurant or the like. But Mark was an elder in the church that I served. He became an elder later. He was a deacon, I believe, when I was there. And he's a good Christian man. They are both part of our safe harbor, and they would love to meet our safe harbor members, and especially those of you who are isolated, who say, we'd like to meet with somebody. You can track them online. They're going to tell us where they're going and when they're going to be there. And you're able to contact them directly and say, is it possible? And they'll do the best they can to meet with as many people as possible. Have I summed that up correctly?
I believe you have.
Yeah.
And you plan to do this for how long?
We're saying 2 to 3 years. We'll be, of course, reevaluating as we go. We don't know how long we might do this. It could be a couple of years. It could be the next 6, 7 years. It really just depends. With our working life, there was never really opportunity to go do a lot of vacation stuff. I traveled a bit for work, but usually it was alone. And then Jodi would travel with her mom and her sister-in-law and see things that I didn't get to go and see. So we're actually making new experiences together, and we don't know how long that might take.
Eventually, we figure we'll settle down, find another house, but we don't know where we want to be yet. And until we have a better handle on that, we'll just travel.
Yeah, that's the thing is we have a grandson in Missouri who we don't know where he might go once he graduates college. We have a couple of grandsons in Las Vegas. There's family in Alabama. There's in Florida.
Texas,
California.
Indiana, Arizona.
So we're just going to kind of loop around the U.S. for a little while, and until I guess we get tired of it and figure out, okay, this is where we want to live. Oh, and by the way, you're going to hear some other noises in addition to the air conditioner. We are currently at Luke Air Force Base, staying in the family camp, and they fly F-35s here. A lot. It starts at about 8 o'clock in the morning and goes until about 6 o'clock at night.
I go to Oak Harbor, Washington every year, and that's where they train carrier pilots. And they fly 24/7, and there are big billboards, I guess mainly for the visitors that come into town, saying, this is the sound of freedom. Don't complain, this is the sound of freedom. So I think that's pretty cool. Well, it's a lot easier to chase grandkids in an RV than it is in one location. Of course, if you decide to set down roots, Tennessee's lovely this time of year. Keep us in mind, because and it's a tax-free, income tax-free state, and very few laws and regulations. So you will experience such freedom coming from Colorado that you'll be giddy for a while, but just that's on offer. That's one of the offers.
That is a fair offer. Thank you.
We'll keep that in mind.
Okay. Now,
We just got to convince some
You're
grandkids to move there.
Maybe
well,
we can
that's
use
true,
this grant.
and I get that. Yeah. My grands are going to get to the age fairly soon where they scatter, so I understand that. I do.
Yeah.
You're already planning, if I remember correctly. You're going to go up through Utah. You've been through Utah and Nevada.
Right.
Then you went south. Where are you going next? Do you know?
We're going to be generally through the end of November now. We're headed back to Colorado from here, but we're going to go down to Tucson for a week and then start trekking north. So we'll go through New Mexico.
Yeah.
With couple nights in one place, and so where we can get back to Colorado by the end of September. We'll be in Colorado Springs 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks.
Yeah. 2.5 weeks.
And then we're going over to Tulsa for a meeting. We also work with Ciudad de Angeles, a children's home in Mexico that we go every year and work on campus for a week or two. And there is a meeting in Tulsa planning for next year's mission teams. And so we're going to be there for that. And then we're going down to Texas in the Athens area through most of the month of November.
So, viewers, we have people around Tucson. We have people around Colorado Springs. We have a lot of people around Tulsa. So this would be opportunities there. How do they actually track you? Are you going to have a Facebook page that tells where you are and where you're headed next?
That's an interesting question. We've talked about that a bit as to how we want to structure this. We actually have an online presence, but we don't put on that site where we're going to be exactly when. So we're still fleshing out the details on how we want to roll with that one. But for instance, Tucson, we will head down there. We leave Phoenix Friday afternoon, and the 12th, and we'll head down to Tucson, and we'll be there for a week. Then we'll meander our way back up to Colorado Springs for a little while. So, like I say, we're still working out the details on how we want to get that information out, what the best method is, whether that's an email subscription list to anybody that would like to know where we're going next, or I'm not sure. A Facebook group could work, but it's a public group, and I don't. With today with security and everything, how much do you want to put out? How many details do you want to put out on a Facebook page? We might come up with something that we do that is a little bit more tailored. If anybody out there has ideas, hey, we're wide open.
Well, if they have ideas, I believe we have your email address that we can. Are you able to put that up, John?
Okay. Yeah, we are at Mark and Jodi at oursafeharbor.com. That's
all right.
If John
I've got another one for you. So you'd rather use that one? Because I've got one that's a Gmail account.
Yeah, we have too many email accounts, but I think that's the one we want to go with for everything that we're doing with Our Safe Harbor is the Mark and Jodi at oursafeharbor.com, and it's marknjodi at oursafeharbor.com.
So marknjodi at oursafeharbor.com.
Yeah, let me get that in the chat, and then anybody that's watching can check that out in the chat.
Okay, he's going to put that down in the chat, and we'll put it in the description box for the video as well, so people can find you there. And if you're able to do a Facebook page, I know that a lot of our viewers use Facebook. We have a good section of our viewers are older people, and older people prefer Facebook to Instagram and the others. And you could make up a page that's just Mark and Jodi on the road, and make it to where very limited information you put out there, except, here are pictures of where we're camped, and we're planning to be, going through and on a certain date. Send us a Facebook message if you'd like for us to connect with you as we go through. And
right.
You can always then kind of check with us to make sure there are safe harbor people. If they say we'd like to meet you behind the Walmart at midnight, don't do that. But I understand security issues.
We'll send the dogs in first.
Send the dogs in first. Although I will tell you, having been around Irish setters, I'm not sure how helpful they're going to be in combat situations. So.
You're not wrong.
Is there anything else you would like to say about our safe harbor, or about your plans, or about what you would like to do as you develop this, as this unrolls?
Well, like I say, we have really come to love our safe harbor and the format. I mean, house churches is such a biblical concept, and we take our church with us wherever we go. So we're just excited about being part of this community, and also getting to know the people that are out there. And we understand that our safe harbor is one option for a church. That we know that people have their own home congregations as well, and which I think is exciting. I mean, more biblical nourishment is not a bad thing, but we want to make ourselves available. We want to be able to just meet with somebody, people, have some coffee, share a meal, pray over them, cry with them, whatever is needed. We want to be that tangible piece of our safe harbor that can't travel quite as far as Patrick does, not including Africa, of course.
It's hard to get an RV across to Africa. They haven't finished that bridge yet. We keep waiting.
Or Hawaii.
Is that something we need to coordinate, Patrick?
Well, I guess we could work on that. Our safe harbor has done an awful lot of things with almost nothing. So let's see what we can do. Maybe, rafts made of reeds, but we'll find a way. But this is great. Now, those of you who are just meeting Mark and Jodi for the first time, or even John and Dave down there, Dave has been quiet because he's just doing the work. And John's been quiet doing the work too. But since John's sitting at the master control board, that's why I'm asking him the questions. But with Mark and Jodi, they are good friends. They do not intrude upon you. They do not violate your privacy. They have both worked where you understood the need for confidentiality and such. So it's not, if you met with them and said, I don't want pictures or notice of this up there, that's fine. They'll take care of that. And Mark is very friendly, and he will talk your ear off. And Jodi is very, very friendly, and she normally doesn't get a chance to talk, but I think that's okay with Jodi. Jodi's a bit more of an introvert, if I understand correctly. And, I believe that us introverts should unite separately in our own homes when we want to. So this is a big step for her. This is a big step for her to even be on this live stream. And so thank you, Jodi, for putting up with this. And thank you, Mark, for your friendship, because it truly made all the difference when we were in Colorado. And it has helped a great deal since. It means a lot to Cammie and to me that you both reached out to us in friendship during those years and then every year since. So thank you. And I hope other people get to meet you and become friends too, because it's quite a gift.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're
I would
very
like
welcome.
to ask a question, if that's all right.
Sure.
Mark and Jodi,
Sure.
I know you said originally that you had camped before, And so you went into this process of buying a new RV and a big truck to go on the road full time. So you had an idea. Have you had any surprises that you really weren't anticipating when you went on the road?
Let's see where to begin. Uh,
Well, Dave is a
when we
budding
first started,
RVer, and
yes.
Yeah.
so he
Well,
has questions.
my answer would be I don't think I had any surprises. I think things have gone about the way I expected.
Yeah, and that's because she thinks before she speaks. So she's given this a lot of thought. Me, on the other hand, I'm more off the cuff. And I'm like, let's see, where to begin? And just little things. Like about a year and a half ago, I went through a course on RV fundamentals, learning how to maintain an RV, what all the different systems do, that kind of stuff, which kind of sparked an interest in another thing that we're going to be doing as well. Um, but that was a good foundational thing. There have been a few little repairs that I need to do on the RV as time goes. Some of that has been because that course helped me build some confidence. Plus, we've always done remodeling projects when we had a regular home, or as RVers call it, a sticks and bricks home. We did a lot of repairs and such, so I've had to fix a few things here or there. Because if you think about it, an RV going down the highway at 65 miles an hour, hitting all the potholes and bumps throughout all of the different highways, things happen. Things work their way loose.
Things fall out of cabinets.
Things fall out of cabinets and break. And, you just learn some things along the way. We've learned some tips and tricks along the way to mitigate that as much as possible. Bungee straps are our friend. That and duct tape.
Good.
So are there any
Dave?
challenges that you're working through? I mean, like knowing where you're going to be able to stay, at your next stop? Any challenges of any sort?
I wouldn't say challenges. I will say that trip planning is quite the chore. We pretty much have to dedicate a day to planning out the next few weeks, just to get a feel for where we can stay, that kind of stuff. It's not difficult. It's a lot of research, a lot of reading campground reviews, and figuring out. Okay, that actually set off a red flag with me moving to the next one. Or, wow, this sounds too good to be true. Or, oh, this one's perfect.
Well, and we also have a fairly big rig
Yeah.
at 40 feet with a big truck pulling it. So there are places that are not suitable for us. And we have gotten into a couple that once we got there, we realized they really weren't quite suitable. But that's where our reservation was, so we had to make it work.
Yeah, Branson, Missouri comes to mind. We had an exciting experience. We got to ride Clydesdales.
Oh,
That was a fun experience, all hands down. Nothing bad about that whatsoever. Getting into that area and out of that area, different story.
Getting into the farm and back out
Yeah,
on some really narrow,
sketchy roads. Dirt road with full tree canopy for I'd say maybe a half a mile or more, and then a sharp turn down, and then I learned how to do some sheet metal fabrication afterwards. So it was all good experience, all in all.
It was an experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, you're not selling this experience to me. I'm still thinking. I'm still thinking my Hyundai from one Hampton Inn to the next. But I know it's a lot of people love it, and you obviously love it, and Dave is getting into it. Dave and Barb.
mhm,
So
mhm.
the best to you. It's It's quite an adventure you're on. A little bit of me is jealous. The only thing that keeps me from being fully jealous is that I have no concept of how to back up a trailer, and my wife does not want to be enclosed in a tube with me. So that's just not going to be one of my options. But you two get along pretty well.
Submarines are out too.
Say that again, please.
So submarines are off the table as well.
Well, and separate submarines might work. In fact, I tried to talk to her about getting a tiny house, and she just, the look I got, Jodi, I think you can just imagine. So I even suggested that we get several tiny houses and little habit trails so that we could go visit each other through these hamster tubes. And for some reason that didn't work either. So we wish the best for you. And by the way, thank you for, in your retirement, you could have just opted out, but instead you're saying, we'd like to be, kind of ambassadors for our safe harbor. We'd like to connect to members, whether they're in a house church or whether they're isolated. And that's a gift of service, and it's a benevolent thing, and we really do appreciate it.
Well, when we first started talking about retirement, we decided that, we want our life to continue having purpose, having meaning. We already work with Ciudad Angeles, and that's very important to us, but it takes up, Jodi's on the board of directors for Ciudad, so her investment is a little more than mine. She has quarterly board meetings, but our trips down there are maybe 3 to 4 weeks, all the trips and meetings combined. That leaves 47 weeks. What do we do? And we know that working with our safe harbor, that can be more of a commitment, and it will keep us engaged, it will keep us focused on what's really important in this life. And that's what we want to continue doing.
Sounds great. Guys, any last words from you?
One thing I wanted to say is that Mark is an officially a minister with our safe harbor, and we've given him access to the people map for our safe harbor. And one of the things that we keep asking for is, what is your physical location so you show up on the physical on our people map. And what Mark and Jodi can do is they can actually look on the map and see where there are people. They can reach out to them via email and just say, hey, are you interested in meeting up with us, either at our RV location or some other place? And by them having, us having your physical address and being able to reach out to you, then that works really well. And so that's kind of why we keep asking for that. And they won't share your information with anybody, just as we don't. It's just so that they can reach out to you to see if there's interest in meeting up with them. And then they might even change their route some to accommodate where you live. So a little bit on that.
Yeah, that's one thing I was going to share is that when we're doing our trip planning, there's a lot of factors that come into play. It's we try to only drive about 200 to 250 miles between destinations at most, just because driving down the road with 58 feet of vehicle gets kind of tiring, and we just want to, not overdo that. But also, who do we know in the area? For instance, we're in Phoenix because Jodi's brother lives here, and somebody and a couple of his kids, and it makes it easier for us to drop in and meet up with family. I've got a buddy that's taking off next Wednesday in Tucson, and we're going to go golf, which I haven't done in a few years, so that should be fun. But we also look at the people map just to see, is there anybody else in that area? And we let people know, hey, we're there. We're going to be here a week. If you'd like to meet for coffee or whatever, give us a shout. And just
let me get a word about the people. Let me say something about the people map, just so that everybody who's watching this is very, very clear. We do want your name and your physical address and contact info. All that generates on the map is a pin. A pin marks the town. It doesn't mark your actual address at all. The only people who have access to your name and how to contact you are looking at you on the screen right now. And so we keep it very confidential. We almost have been doing this for 5 years, and we've not had one leak or one issue. And we believe that's going to continue because we're very, very tight on that information. So Mark or Jodi would look up and say, well, there are pins around Tucson. We're just going to send out emails saying we're coming through. But when they send out emails, even those will be sent out individually. They won't be sent out to a group. So your email is never shared with other people. So right. Just be aware, you're not giving the world access to your address at all. We're good about that.
And I should mention here that if you are watching this and you want to update that information, you can send it to us at info@oursafeharbor, and that will give us that comes actually to Dave and to me and to Patrick. And the three of us can update the system so that we can get that map. We want it to be as accurate as we can get it, just because of the reasons that you're hearing, but we kind of have an idea as to who's around. One of the challenges is we never really know who is watching, or we don't know what our church attendance is. We don't have that sort of luxury as an online church, but that's okay. But if you consider yourself a Safe Harbor member and you're comfortable with it, we'd love to have your information to add to that database.
And just one thing I thought of is my background is computer security. I've been doing that for the last, basically 36 years, all of my military career. And so I have a deep understanding for privacy, for ensuring that information doesn't go where information's not supposed to go. So just want to kind of give you a little level of confidence on that one. And then Jodi's just a very private person. So.
Well, we love you. Thank you for spending the time with us when you could have been visiting with Brother. John, you have something?
Yeah, let me just catch us up in the chat. We've had a few people jump in, including a couple of the lovely ladies. So Miss Cammie says, good to see you, Mark and Jodi. She is paying attention at home over there. And, of course, Miss Barb is, hey, thanks for doing this on behalf of the Osh family. And then Michelle and John, these are names I don't recognize, but they also
That's
send their
Berkebile. They're up in Ohio.
Well, there you go. So these are all faces, of course, that at least one of us know here on the show. But yeah, it's always good. Thank you for chiming in over on the chat. Those the email addresses for Mark and Jodi and for updating the map are available there in the chat, or you can reach out to us at any time, info@oursafeharbor, even after the broadcast is done, and we can help you with that.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Appreciate it. Mark and Jodi, be safe out there.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Go be blessed and be a blessing.
Cheers, everybody.
Amen.
Cheers.
Have a great afternoon.